Well, guys, I did it. I managed to sneak my way into the Twin Flames Universe open forum on Facebook. It's a private group that I found my way into. I mentioned in a video last week that I had tried to get in, but I figured I wouldn't get in because they would probably notice that a girl who makes anti-cult content online was trying to get into the group, but no, they didn't notice, and boy oh boy, I cannot wait to unpack this with you. Jeff and Shaleia, the leaders of this group, are working overtime to try to save themselves. They're in full-on denial mode, and they are really trying to regain, I should say, control over their group and recontrol the perception that members of the group have on them. They're doing all of the classic cult leader things that cult leaders do when they're being exposed. They're denying, they're shunning, they're isolating, they're thought stopping, they're doing all of the things. So today we are going to, in a very unstructured video, I usually have a script that I've meticulously written and researched. Today we are just going to review these tactics in a very low-key, non-structured way. So sit back, relax, it's time to take a deep breath and let the fresh air in. Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you're brand new. I hope you're having an amazing day so far. My name is Erin, and this is going to be a little bit of a different video for you today. It's going to be unstructured. Like I said in my intro, I want to review and react to some of the posts I'm seeing from Jeff and Shaleia themselves and a lot of the group members within the group, and break down the things that they are doing that just further proves that this is a cult and they are cult leaders and they are just vehemently denying all allegations and doing it in a way that literally every cult leader since the dawn of time has been doing while continuing to claim that they're not a cult. It's just the mental gymnastics these people must be doing right now. I just wanted to let you all know that I make true crime content on Tuesdays, and I like to explore a cult or a spiritual belief or extreme religion that I find interesting on Saturdays. And in November and December of this year, 2023, I'm dropping a bonus video on Thursdays. If cults, true crime, psychology, scams, anything like that is something that you find interesting, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would absolutely love to have you here. And if this is your first video of mine that you're watching, like I've said, it's unstructured, it's unscripted, it's mostly just off-the-cuff reactions to things I've seen because I really want to show to my viewers and to those who are still in this cult or might be in another one or considering joining this cult to please not do it. Get out, because these are classic cult tactics. I'm going to go ahead and link my videos that I've already made on this group throughout the video. You'll see them kind of pop up here somewhere, and I'll link them down below so that you have easy access. And I also have just a bunch of other videos on my channel that might not pertain to this, but explore cult psychology and true crime as well. And I like to start off my videos by recommending a book. Once again, I'm going to recommend Don't You Cry. It's a fascinating mystery novel about a woman who wakes up one day and her roommate, who she's been living with for a while, has seemingly disappeared. So it's a very good book. Let me know down in the comments whether you've read this book, whether you like it, you hated it. Let me know. Before we jump into the hot topic of this video, I do want to express that it is all educational and for entertainment purposes only. There is a lot and mostly just my opinion in this video, and it is not meant to malign anyone from any group or organization or person or entity. So I just want to leave that disclaimer here. All of the things that I'm sharing and reacting to have been found online, and I have hidden the names of anyone who's not a public figure. So please know that I encourage you doing your own research. Everything that I say in this video is also alleged. It has not been found as true. So please be considerate of all of those disclaimers as you watch the video. Thank you very much. Whew. Guys, now when I tell you that I was not expecting to be added to this group, I really thought I would not be added to this Facebook group. Jeff and Shaleia are really working overtime to try to protect their group. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people still in the group. They've really built up a strong community around them, but it is starting to break down. And if the group is any inclination, this Twin Flames universe is starting to crumble, and thank goodness. They are behaving just like any cult leader would or has in all of history. They are inviting people to ask questions, but then are using very flowery, non-specific, word salady language to answer the questions. And if you call them out on this and say, you haven't specifically answered my question, they either kick you out of the group or they claim that you left the group, which I honestly think that they're getting kicked out and blocked. And they're doing all of this to save face. They're trying to make it look like, well, we promote critical thinking. We want you to decide for yourself. We never did that. Everything was taken out of context. And when you ask for context, they can't give it to you. I have not personally asked a question in the forum. I've just kind of observed and taken some screenshots. I am going to protect the identities of all of the people besides Jeff and Shaleia, since they are public figures, when I break down and go through some of the questions that I'm seeing in the forum. And I wish I could show you the names simply because it's very clear on Facebook. Like if someone has been blocked or is no longer in the group, their name shows up as like a different color, like a grayish color. And it says they're no longer in this forum when you like hover your cursor over their name. So it just goes to show that you're not really allowed to ask questions. And if you were, aren't going to get a straight up answer from them. So I went to the Twin Flames Universe Instagram because one of you guys commented and said that they had limited their comments. And that is absolutely true. They have limited their comments. All you'll see on their comments now are like hearts, and it says that all of the comments are limited, which basically means that anything that's not something they want to see is not being publicly shown. And anytime someone has their comments limited, it's probably because they're receiving a lot of backlash. They want it to be less publicized and they're trying to control any negativity towards their own group. Because I think, I could be wrong, but when you limit comments on your own post, I think you have to go in and approve the comments that you want to show up under that photo or video. And there are not many comments popping up. And if there are, they're just hearts or accolades. So that tells you something, doesn't it? I also went to their website and I wanted to read for you quickly their official press statement. And I want to remind you before I read this that according to the Netflix documentary, the producers reached out to Jeff and Shaleia for comment and they refused to comment. But now they're claiming that they haven't had an appropriate opportunity to make a public statement. So now they've made one on their website. I'm referring to my phone because all of this has been screenshotted on my phone. The Twin Flames universe responds to recent media articles and productions. We appreciate the opportunity to address several concerns raised in recent headlines and documentary productions about our community. Our primary objective continues to be the development of a community that is both diverse and inclusive, joined together by common values, principles, and goals. Well, if it looks like a cult, walks like a cult, smells like a cult, it might be a cult. Those who enter our community and become students are treated with love, acceptance, and support. This will never change, and we continue to love those who have moved on and wish only the best for those who ultimately decide to follow their journey elsewhere. Our organization is staffed by a multidisciplinary team of experts, including PhD researchers and educators from around the globe, all coming together with unique experiences and backgrounds. Each of us has dedicated ourselves wholly to ethical conduct and the welfare of our community. Do you see how this is like non-specific? Like a PhD, you can get we had a teacher in my high school and we called her Doc because she had a PhD in costuming. She was like a costume designer and she had a PhD. So whenever someone says PhD but doesn't specify what it's in, that always raises alarm flags for me. We'd like to emphasize that our educational content and methodologies are tailored to provide a unique path for both personal and spiritual development and fulfillment. We recognize our methods may not align with everyone's unique beliefs or needs, and we honor the freedom of individuals to explore other options they feel best elevate their spiritual well-being. We are devoted to ongoing refinement and welcome meaningful conversations with all interested parties. I'm sure you do now that you've been exposed, but it doesn't sound like from the footage that was shown in the documentary that you really provide an environment that encourages students to look elsewhere, considering there's a price tag on your methods and your methodologies, and you are consistently telling your students that this is the only way for them and the only way for them to get their full spiritual enlightenment and the only way for them to truly find their twin flame, which is destined by God / Jeff, is by doing their program and spending money on their courses and spending money on their coaching. But okay. We take seriously recent allegations implying we wield inappropriate control over our community members. Are you just going to flat out say you're not a cult, or are you just going to use flowery, word salady language? After a careful review of both media coverage and recent productions, we are saddened that so much effort has gone into taking swipes at an organization and community founded on love and mutual respect. I think it was founded on you seeing that people might be sometimes desperate to find a partner and you exploiting that. The allegations levied against Twin Flames Universe not only distort our true aims, methods, and curriculums, but also misinterpret the autonomy of our community members, who are free to engage with our resources as they see fit. We are committed to confronting these allegations in an open and accountable manner. What have you been accountable for, though? What have you been accountable for? You could have just come out and said, yes, we do believe that their humans are either 100% masculine and 100% feminine, and maybe we took it too far. Why can't you just say that? Because it means that all of the other allegations are probably true? Could that be why? I mean, come on. Twin Flames Universe will continue to foster an atmosphere of open discussion. We welcome constructive feedback. Just wait till I see what the constructive feedback is and how quickly those people are kicked out of the group. Or also the fact that the open forum where they're inviting people to ask questions has a series of filters because they don't want everyone to have freedom of speech. They're basically saying, come ask us questions, but only the right kind of questions. Only questions that we can answer with our flowery, pretty, spiritual language. Our unwavering commitment is to maintain a secure, respectful, and uplifting space for anyone who wishes to join or engage with our community. That would have been a really cool opportunity for you to actually take accountability or say why you didn't want to make a statement to the Netflix producers. Why? Why? Because no matter what you say could implicate yourself? Could that be it? Now I want to jump in and explore some of the posts made in the Twin Flames Universe online open forum in their Facebook group. An admin posted this. Hello, everyone. Many of you have seen or be aware. I wish they proofread this. Okay. Many of you may have seen or be aware of the Amazon and Netflix docuseries currently circulating about our organization. We would like to express that Twin Flames Universe always strives to maintain the utmost professionalism, compassion, and understanding, and we regret that anyone would move on from our community feeling any sense of resentment towards others or any aspect of their experience. However, we do not feel that issuing falsehoods, intentional misrepresentations, and salacious stories in pop media is a constructive approach to dealing with any individual issues. It is not fair to the good-hearted people of our community, nor does it uphold the values of love and truth that we teach. We'd like to take this opportunity to have a dialogue about this and answer any questions. We are also happy to address any concerns. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have here, and we will be happy to discuss them with you. At the time of this screenshot, there were 642 comments on this post, full of questions and pseudo answers. I think my biggest concern with this particular post is that it's doing what every cult wants you to do. They want you to address any conflict only within the group, because if you speak out publicly about this group, this is what happens. They get backlash. They get shut down. There could be some kind of investigation on where all of their money is going. So they're literally using tactics that a cult wants you to use. Keep it in the family, keep it in the group. If you have a conflict, deal with it within so that the leaders can manipulate you into taking responsibility for your concern. I made a video just a couple days ago that I'll link right here if I can remember. And it's all about how coercive control is used on a regular basis. Like let's say you did go to them and you did go and say, "Hey, like I'm really concerned. You paired me with a woman. I'm a straight woman. You told me I was now a masculine and I need to come up with a different name or consider coming up with a new gender identity, and that makes me feel uncomfortable." I wonder what the cult leader would say. Would the cult leader potentially say, huh, well, maybe you feel resistant because identifying as a woman is all you've ever known. And you're self sabotaging because remember that story you told us your very first week about X, Y, and Z trauma you experienced as a young person? Maybe that's what's playing into this because I thought you wanted your twin flame. And this is your twin flame, so you need to make the adjustments. You need to heal. Do you think that's what they could potentially say? They're going to gaslight you. They're going to manipulate you. And that's what they're doing in these comments. They're making it seem like this is an open forum. Ask us questions while also saying nothing that anyone said publicly was either true and nothing that anyone said publicly was within the context of what actually happened. Really, all of the people that came and spoke out to the documentary are all lying? All of them. You think that the producers at Netflix haven't vetted this to make sure that it's true? Do you really think that they're going to risk putting something on their platform that could get them in legal trouble? Have you mentioned that you're suing for defamation or libel? No, because you can't. Because there is proof in the pudding. There is proof in the videos that we see what you are doing. There is footage of you, Jeff and Shaleia, doing what your victims have said that you have done, and you're still denying it or taking it out of context. So we're going to move on to some more of these posts. Here's what how someone responded to this post. This group teaches how to make a different choice in the plainest of terms and for free, too. I did eventually buy the courses, but I got so far with just all the free content they have. It's so wildly good. And the main piece of content, the mirror exercise, which we broke down in my video, is actually incredibly dangerous for you, is the only thing you actually need to completely change your life. Doing the courses or coaching only helps you go deeper with it. I have not been active in the community or with my coaches in years. There has been no excommunication. I have only received love. It's probably because you haven't outwardly said anything negative about the group. I mean, you spent your money, you found your twin flame. Congrats, you can't give them anything else. Their job is done. I only received love. Even when I struggled, everyone was only trying to help me through it, and they were patient, even as I was super triggered and throwing a spiritual tantrum. What was triggering you, though? Was it them? With something that they were trying to coerce you into doing? I have at times projected stuff onto the work, the group, the coaches, the people, etc. When I really worked through the trigger, I realized it was entirely me. And this is what their BS mirror exercise wants all of the members within this group to find and discover and think. Anytime you have a trigger, anytime you have a concern with the group, anytime you have a problem with the group, anytime you get angry with the group, they'll say, go do the mirror exercise. The mirror exercise forces you to take responsibility for all of the feelings that you feel. So instead of saying, this group is making me frustrated, you would say, I am making me frustrated and I am just projecting it onto the group. Look, I'm all for self-awareness, but if you are being abused by people, you can't be healed by the people that are abusing you. But this is an example of, in my opinion, someone who has been abused and has not been able to see through the abuse because she's all the things she experienced in her time with the Twin Flames universe, all of those experiences that were negative, she's blaming on herself now. You see what I mean? I know this because I've never spoken to Jeff or Shaleia personally. They had no way to lure me into a cult or actively trigger me. But that is why they have the coaching program. Guess who else did this? Nexium. They had a coaching system. There were plenty of members that got too far involved that never or barely ever interacted with Keith Raniere. Here's what I've experienced here. I have studied so many of the teachings and worked with my ascension coaches on and off, and it has helped me heal so much and find genuine peace. What has it helped you heal? The process is life-saving and has made my life amazing. I have healed so much, and honestly, I'm still at the tip of what's possible. There's so much more I want to change about my life, but right now I've been manifesting my babies through 8 years of infertility, and that's heartbreaking, but she thinks that doing this spiritual work is going to help because they've made her help. Like, I hope she's still going to like a medical doctor, you know? Or does she just believe that Jeff and Shaleia and their teachings have the answer for her? And I'm about to have my second in a few weeks. Oh, that's great. Okay, good. I'm happy for her. That healing chapter is soon to be complete, and I'll be ready to take on another room in my house. The reason I have my children and my twin flame, who I'm married to, is because of the healing work I did, period. But was that because you were healing yourself only because of this group? And did they assign your twin flame like they did everybody else? Just because your experience with a group was or has been seemingly positive does not mean that other people have not had a negative experience, and it doesn't mean they're lying. It's like saying like, "Oh, I had a good interaction with Harvey Weinstein that one time, and I thought he was a great guy. He shook my hand." Okay, well, he also harmed a lot of other women. Two things can be true at once, and it doesn't mean that like he's a good guy just cuz he didn't make you his victim. You know what I mean? Why take a break or slow down if it's so good? Because the work is so powerful. When you work with anyone in the group who really knows their stuff, your life changes so fast. They cut through so much of your BS and hiding from yourself, and it can be a lot. I was experiencing that every week or two during my coaching, and my life was rearranging so quickly, and I wanted to go slower. No one stopped me, no one blocked me, no one unfriended me. My choice has been honored perfectly, as have the choices of so many others in the group. And that's wonderful. But again, it doesn't sound like you ever spoke out negatively about the group. The point is not also it's the point is not always, well, if you leave, we'll shun you. Sometimes it's if you leave and speak negatively, we will shun you. You have to consider that. And this is what kills me because this is what a lot of these positive testimonies are say in the end. They say, I have not seen any documentaries. So your point of view is biased. It's biased. It's going to be biased. If all you have to lean on is your very personal experience and you're not willing to seek any type of outside information to get any other point of view, that is the problem. You are in the cult. You've been indoctrinated. That's what they want you to say. That's what they want you to do. I don't really know the context of this next bit about Alice Hines, but I wanted to say because I don't want anyone to think I'm like leaving anyone out. I think she's a documentarian. I guess I'll say it just because I don't want anyone to say that I'm like leaving anything out. However, I watched Alex Hines while she was doing the original story, and please look at her body of work even before TFU. To me, she so obviously desires drama and fear, not love. I don't mean to badmouth her. I don't know her either, but she has a clear narrative around her body of work that she wants everything to fit into. Is it perhaps because she's trying to save people from cults? Like, I want to look her up now. But that could be, like, that's my drive. If anyone from this group looked at my YouTube channel, the 17 videos I have now up, they would probably say the same thing about me. Oh, she's just has a negative intention and doesn't act of love. No, I'm posting this content because I do love people and I don't want people to be taken advantage of and manipulated in the way that you so clearly have been. I am also a writer and I pity her so much. I have my life purpose and it's beautiful and loving and helps people. I can't imagine the hell she must be in to have created the body of work that she has. She's probably trying to help people. This is her version of helping people. And if you were able to open your eyes and turn on a documentary or listen to someone else's story, maybe you would be able to open your mind enough to see that. The bottom line is that this work is very challenging, very deep, really infinitely deep. And if you're used to living in fear, then you will gravitate towards fear. That is what I believe these documentaries offer. There is no way for Jeff or Shaleia to even respond. They literally cannot help someone stop buying into fear. Well, they were asked to comment and they refused to comment. So you're wrong there. And this seems to always be the cult and the members of the cult's reaction or response. It's, well, they're just fearful. They're just of what? What are we all afraid of? What are we all afraid of? No one's afraid of falling in love. Come on. We're all living in fear. I didn't go research Twin Flames universe. It popped up on my, hey, you might enjoy this type of show because you like documentaries. And I watched it and was fascinated and did some more research and learned, wow, this is a cult, in my opinion. So I'm not afraid of anything. I'm not afraid of anyone coming after me. I'm not afraid because this video is all opinion and everything's alleged. So I'm just using things I'm finding on the internet and talking about them. It's all public use. Further, we all know the media is largely focused on clickbait instead of truth, not intentional journalism, and not documentaries. So there's actually no way of the truth about this work or this group could even come out through that distribution channel. That leaves one narrative to be dominant and no way to counter it. No, you're in a cult that only has one narrative, and you're not even open to discovering what could counter it. You just said you're making this entire argument based off of not even watching the opposing point of view's information. This is foolish. This is foolish. But it's like, I can't be mad because at the same time, this person is a victim of the cult. And that's what's so frustrating with stuff like this, because part of me wants to get a little snarky and sassy, but then I have to remind myself that like this person is so deeply ingrained in the cult that they cannot see it for themselves yet. So it makes me want to reshoot everything I just shot because it just further supports what I've been saying in all of the videos that I've been making about this group, that it's dangerous, that people this is a perfect example of the cognitive dissonance. This person is so far in, there's no way they're going to climb themselves back out. They've dug themselves a hole. They're in the hole. It makes me need to it's a good reminder because I do need to be more compassionate, because this stuff does make me frustrated because I'm thinking of all the potential victims, and it's important for me and for all of us as we watch everything unfold that we need to have compassion for people like this person, because they are a victim at the end of the day. They're also a victim. If you're still in the Twin Flames universe, you might be some of the biggest victims in this entire story. Look very simply at what is being presented to you. There's choosing fear or there's choosing love. That is all. Also, the idea that you can have a cult online is ridiculous. Even Hines admitted to being perplexed by this in her own newsletter. There are so many red flags in this logic, as there always is in fear. No, we have broken down how a cult is not location-based. A cult is mind-based. It's internal, okay? And the mind is something that can be transformed in so many ways. And whether you're in person with a leader or online in a Zoom meeting with them, they can still access your brain. They can still change the way you perceive things. And we're seeing the evidence of that right now. And again, I'm going to reference my video I posted Thursday. That will be in the description box below, because all of those tactics, almost none of them, there's one tactic that implies that everybody needs to be in the same physical location. Jeff and Shaleia taught me that I could always access the truth so plainly. Just go to God, my source, with zero attachment. I encourage everyone here to do the same. I can see this conversation is frustrating for many. It's because you aren't going to get the truth by trying to make people in this community answer questions a certain way or address something the way you think it should be addressed. Look at what's bothering you about it and clear that, then come back with those questions with clean energy. She's basically saying, yeah, if you have a question and you don't like how it's being answered, like you don't like how vague the answer is, or you feel like your question hasn't been answered, that's a you problem. And maybe you should go like do the mirror exercise for a sec and then come back and be more open to Jeff and Shaleia's bullshit. Jeff and Shaleia have outright stated that they are not even interested in controlling anyone's reality or perception. They are living their lives and working their own upsets. They instead want all of us to go to God. That is the literal foundation of the mirror exercise. You get the truth by going to your source and desiring to see the truth with no attachments or agenda. Hope this helps. Telling other victims of a cult, and especially the cult that you're in, that they're making it up, that's you using another cult tactic against them. You saying that a victim is in charge of their reaction to abuse, that's gaslighting. That is what the cult wants you to do. You are turning into the perpetrator. This is a clear example of how someone transforms from victim into perpetrator. Let's clear that one. We're going to jump to a response to that big chunk of text. And of course, it's a top contributor, which if you go into the group, most of the comments are from like top contributors or allowed contributors. And most of the comments from people who aren't like top contributors or like group experts were allegedly kicked out of the group. This top contributor says, OMG, that's literally happening because the darkness is purging out, and the darkness, illusion, ego, etc. starts projecting itself all the way when it's met with light. Like Jesus, they literally called him all these names and literally murdered him, and that's because he was so pure light that all darkness comes out. Whoever made this documentary, like mainstream media, is just making a documentary about itself. Everything is a projection. When you look at everything as a projection, then there's zero accountability. When you look at everything as a blessing, there are no red flags. These comments prove to me that the people making the comments, their critical thinking has been turned off, because critical thinking means you have to consider both/all scenarios and all sides of a topic. All that is to be done is see it as it is, a part of the universe that's playing the role of literally strengthening the light. It's still all love. And then she follows that up with, and you can tell the people are acting in the doc. How? I'm an actor, and those people were not acting. I've been acting for over 20 years. Those people were not acting. So let's move on to another question. Someone asked this person, so do they own $1 million home or not? Was all that staged? Were those meetings real? I'm very confused by this post. Someone responded, they live on the members' money. And then he said, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So the members are basically paying these two people to find their twin flame, basically like an arrangement, ... No, we pay for classes that teach you how to manifest your perfect life of love by focusing on a God-centered life, which naturally manifests your twin flame. Does that make sense? Like logical sense? I am totally a spiritual babe. I've got tarot cards right here, oracle cards right next to them. I love witch stories and I want to be a witch. I wish I was. I love astrology. I'm a Gemini. I love to see synchronicities. I'm very much a spiritual person, but I think things need to be grounded in some type of real logic or proof. Something that's you can't say something is proof if it's a spiritual thing, right? Like I can look out in the sky and I can see the sun exists. That is proof. I cannot look up in the sky and see a God that is going to put my twin flame at my front door simply because I believe in God. That's not a tangible thing that you can sell. And I think that's what the point this question is trying to make. Like, it basically seems like a matchmaking service. And they're like, no, it's not. We're getting to a vibrational place where you manifest the person that you love, and then it's God's will because we have a church so that we don't have to pay taxes, allegedly. Come on. You can make one payment or pay in increments for a year. You attract them. Nothing is forced. If anyone says, pay me to learn how to attract things, don't pay them. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to manipulate you and exploit you. It's about raising your vibration and attracting your desires, and who better to be sharing this than a twin flame couple who have actually attained it through the process that they share. And someone else responds, and also this person who they're responding to, since they asked this question about Jeff and Shaleia's money, they were allegedly kicked out of the group. This is the first example that we're seeing of that. It's not a top contributor asking a question. It's literally someone being like, hey, here's an actual question I want to ask. This seems kind of exploitative. And they're like, screw you, get out. Or maybe they left. That's why I said allegedly. I don't know. What I can say is that the documentary is taking some of the basic principles we believe in this group and miscommunication them. Well, maybe it's a miscommunication because y'all don't proofread. Sorry. Yes, we do believe that you heal your twin flame. Yes, we do believe that as you heal, your twin flame heals as well, because we believe that twin flames share one consciousness. This does not mean, though, that you are in any way responsible for your twin flame's feelings or vice versa. What we strongly believe in here is that each individual is not only responsible for his or her own choices, feelings, and actions. Oh, sorry. What we strongly believe in here is that each individual is only responsible for his or her own actions, feelings, and choices. This includes twin flame relationships. As a coach myself, and having worked with my colleagues here, I can say that blaming is not a technique we use in sessions. What we do is support our clients in loving themselves, and if they feel stuck on their journey, helping them discover why that might be and heal. There is no such thing as an ideal that everyone has to meet. We honor everyone's unique, I lost my place, and individual journey as the experiences that come with it and the experiences that come with that. Yes, we do believe that in a twin flame union, there is one person embodying the divine masculine energy and the other person the divine feminine energy. Personally, trying this on has brought a lot of relief in my life. There are many stereotypes about what is feminine and masculine that were created by society and are not correct. TFU has always encouraged everyone to be their whole and complete authentic self, no matter what it looks like or if it meets stereotypes or not, and regardless of what gender or energy they identify as. Okay, so then why do we have like videos of you guys encouraging people to change their name to sound more male when they've been a self identifying woman? I mean, to be fair, if you are someone that found this group and you were already maybe questioning your identity, and this group kind of gave you that permission that you needed to fully accept that identity, then that's amazing. Like, that's fantastic. I'm not talking about those experiences though. I'm dissecting the coercion that goes into trying to force your own ideal, because what's happening in this group is this. They promised they would find people's twin flames. People started questioning, why haven't I gotten my twin flame yet? Why haven't I gotten my twin flame yet? Because Jeff and Shaleia guaranteed that they would find you your twin flame. Then they said, well, the twin flame can only be someone else who is doing this work, so it has to be someone within the group. And then people within the group looked around and said, well, there's mostly women in this group. So what does that mean? Like, how do we get more men in this group? I want to be. And then Jeff and Shaleia were like, oh, wait. Don't you worry. You have a twin flame in here, but actually you're just not identifying correctly. So you need to identify as a male. So here's your pairing. It's a woman pairing. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. You're actually a divine masculine. So change your name, cut your hair so that you two can be in this divine union together. That's what we're talking about, because it is a monetary, quote unquote, product based business model. They are promising you that if you follow their teachings, you will get your twin flame. They have to have people who are examples of that. They have to have people within the group to show the other people in the group that it's working, because that's the only way people will stay in the group. This is all intentional because it is a monetary business model. It is for profit. Their goal is not to align you or help you grow or help you become more spiritual or help you find your twin flame. Their goal is to make a lot of money. That's their goal. So don't kid yourself. If they wanted to help people, they would be getting their psychology degree. And you know what? Maybe they do really think that this work, that they call it, will help people find their twin flame or attract better. Whatever, that's fine, right? Sometimes you need a mindset coach to just help you feel better about yourself and help you feel more deserving. That's great, whatever. But they are promising something to people that is so intangible, right? That they have to force ideologies onto people and make it other people's fault if their business is failing. If they can't get you a twin flame, if you do their courses and you don't find a twin flame, well, you're not doing enough courses, so buy another one. Well, you're not doing the work, so you need to go deeper and spend more money for more coaching. That's the whole basis of their business model. There's not a true product. That's the biggest problem. They're not psychologists. They can't help you work through your own demons. All they're doing is inventing exercises for you to go do at home and then inviting you to go live on a compound with them. Like, come on. Our coach policy is always updated and improved through an HR system. Okay, most businesses, they just say HR. They don't say HR system. So this makes me wonder if they don't have an official HR, like someone who has a background in HR. And HR is mostly to protect those within the company or organization anyways, not necessarily the consumer. And not even necessarily the employees. It's meant to protect the business itself. The goal is never to put blame on the client, and it's sad to see that these mistakes happen. It is an individual experience from some of the former coaches. We are regularly reviewed through our certification and have a whole branch of HR for client to report anything that feels bad or uncomfortable to them. The goal is to cultivate a safe environment overall. No ideal. Jeff and Shaleia have always encouraged unique, different paths and self-exploration. Okay, and that's most of the same. I know this video is getting long, so I'm like, how much more should I be covering? Okay, so here's a good question someone asks. Is any of this true? Because I just found you and joined. I have not watched it, but my parents are encouraging me, and I don't want this group to seem great so far. And I don't want to. This group seems great so far, a great community. And a group expert responded, "These are accusations from a group of former members in years past that have unfortunately sought to misrepresent Jeff and Shaleia as unquestionable cult leaders by taking discussions about deep spiritual concepts out of their actual context and showing them in the form of individual video clips. We highly suggest you spend time exploring for yourself and coming to your own conclusions by only using the Twin Flames universe content." Hey, you know the content that we're accused of brainwashing people with? Instead of like watching the documentary that's against us, you should just totally go and watch all of the stuff that we've used to brainwash people and then make your own decision, come to your own conclusion. Give me a break. So this woman asks several very fair, very great questions. And guess what? She was kicked out of the group, allegedly. I have a few questions. 1, are you actually open to addressing objections, concerns, and stories of deep pain expressed in the documentaries? I guess I'll find out based on whether you delete this comment or care to respond to my questions below. 2, have you tried to reach out to ex-members to repair so-called individual issues? Every organization has flaws and areas of unhealth. What are some areas that TFU acknowledges need improvement, and how are you practically tending to them? Words mean very little if there is no action to accompany them. This person's very smart. 3, real people were hurt, and these documentaries could be their only way to express that hurt to you, especially if they were cut off in every other way. Does that mean anything to you? How will you ensure current TFU members aren't hurt in similar ways? No person or group is perfect. Personal growth doesn't happen unless we are able to listen to criticism humbly and take accountability for the ways we have wronged others, even if we didn't mean to cause harm. There are plenty of good-hearted, well-meaning people here, but even good-hearted people hurt others. I'm sure I have been the villain in other people's stories, and I would hope that they would give me the opportunity to repair so we can both heal in the ways we need. I have a lot of other questions, but let's start there." And then several people are like, "Yes, you hit all of my questions perfectly." And then the moderator says, "You may find the media statement helpful," which is what we read at the top of the video, which was vague AF. So this person who asked those questions, very poignant questions, responded, "Appreciate the response, but how are they addressed? What is HR's process? Is it posted somewhere for members to access themselves? Additionally, are there checks and balances for Jeff and Shaleia specifically? Anyone that is holding them accountable for their actions, board of directors, overseers, elders, etc., that cannot be fired or excommunicated if they raise concerns about them? Please be real with me about this one, as much of the pain expressed in the documentary is directly with them." And someone responded, "Of course there is. All that you have listed above." So finally, Jeff actually pipes in. Jeff, the cult leader. And guess what his name is? Jeff Divine. Y'all think that's his real name? The Church of Union is run by and benefits the community and is a nonprofit religious organization that nobody owns. It has a board of directors with legal voting rights and several board members, none of which are Shaleia or myself. We do advise the board, but if they decide they don't like our direction or advice, they wouldn't have to listen. They could legally do whatever they want. All my companies and assets are pledged to the COU. It is my life's work. I'm not doing any of this for myself. Yeah, is that why you're driving a freaking yellow Lambo or whatever it is? I'm not doing any of this for myself. I'm doing this to create and extend the spiritual community I desired but never found until we created it. Oh, because you're the big answer to everyone's spiritual question mark, Jeff. It is a collective co-creation where literally everyone has a voice, except when you kick them out of your open forum, right, Jeff? And we all collectively agree upon the direction. Sometimes we try things and most people aren't interested, and it doesn't take root, just like any organization. So we either evolve or let it go or try something else. We're an incredibly innovative organization, reimagining community and organization from the ground up. Most of the issues I see with us are arising from a misunderstanding or simply an unwillingness to explore the actual depth of thought and experience where we actually live. What does that mean? You didn't answer any of her questions. Is there an HR place that, like a anywhere online that a member of your community can go to with a concern? You didn't answer any of her questions, dude. So then she responded to both of them. In all due respect, I find the media statement isn't helpful. It's contradictory. It claims TFU welcomes constructive feedback, yet writes off the painful stories of former members as taking swipes against TFU. I found the documentaries to raise a number of good questions and valid points of feedback. Is it only constructive if TFU decides it is? I don't sense genuine compassion, humility, curiosity, and ownership in TFU's response towards real stories of pain and trauma. More than anything, I sense denial and defensiveness. Yeah, me too, girl. This is not love. This is not the path towards spiritual ascension. And Jeff responded, yes, but we're not going to get into arguments or be subject to abuse. You're delusional, Jeff. If someone wants to have sincere dialogue with us, they have to act like a mature human. Also, having a sincere motive helps rather than an agenda. We're all busy doing stuff we each enjoy and are creating the life of our dreams, so we have better things to do than to just get into nonsense arguments with every passing person who has an upset. We have always been open to fully satisfying any sincere questions. She asked extremely clear cut, concise, professional questions that if anyone was running a legitimate organization, they would not just have to legally answer, but be more than happy to answer so that they could protect themselves legally. But Jeff just says, we're too busy co-creating our lives to answer your questions because they're negative. No, it's because you don't have a real response. You're so desperate to control the narrative that all you're doing is going on the attack. And that's what, guess what? Every cult leader does. Jeff and Shaleia, if you're watching this, your behavior with this exact response is only proving the point that you are cult leaders. That's all it's doing. So do better if you really don't think you two are cult leaders. He continues, we are in a constant state of cultivating healthy relationships with our members. Sometimes in the healing process, one reaches the end of the road where one has no more room to continue to play out their pattern and must choose elsewhere, must choose between continuing their pattern elsewhere or healing it and growing closer to our community and their own personal life of joy. Oh, okay, so either do it our way or like GTFO. Nearly every time the person comes out on the other side victorious and healed, and they feel tremendous relief and expanded freedom in their lives as a result. In extremely rare cases, the person will repeatedly choose not to heal. They will choose shame or guilt or fear or whatever their pattern is, and then they will themselves prefer to keep that pattern instead of the healing we offer. We unconditionally respect the power each person has to choose their reality, and we wish those who prefer not to heal with us all the best on their journey. You're not answering a single GD question, dude. Take off the spiritual hat and you say you're a business owner, okay? You're a business owner, Jeff. Put on your business owner hat for a sec, okay? Just put it on real quick and see if it fits. I don't think it does. It might be a little too big for you. And answer this woman's very clear, concise, professional questions. It's like she asked, what is my salary? And he said, your salary is going to be offered to you bi-weekly, and then you'll get a bonus at the end of the year, and it's going to be based off of how well you do. Okay, but you're offering me a job. What's the salary going to be? Your salary is going to be dependent on the work you do. Well, then I'm not going to frickin' work for you, dude. You know what I'm saying? Answer the question. Stop pussyfooting around it. Twin Flames universe. Twin Flames Universe is a wonderful organization, and as a business, it successfully provides products and services to its clients who get value in tremendous excess of what they pay for. This is all just fluff. That sentence is such a run on and doesn't fully make sense. Imagine your CFO of your business or your CEO or your, COO didn't respond to your emails. They just got into these long ass debates with you on the internet. You're like, what are you saying? Tell me you're not a real business owner without telling me you're not a real business owner. I just want to read that sentence again. Twin Flames Universe is a wonderful organization, and as a business, it successfully provides products and services to its clients who get value in tremendous excess of what they pay for. Yeah? Like getting gender reassignment surgery, Jeff? Because they were coerced into it? Cool. Like shunning all their family members? Twin Flames Universe grows organically, and we work on whatever is arising in any given moment to improve our ability to provide value to our clients. Our role is to help people heal their hurt. We do not hurt people. We help people heal by lovingly supporting them to identify the hurt place inside themselves, and then we support them in loving themselves in that hurt place, which ultimately heals their heart. We help them heal themselves, and there's a hurt in their heart, and then they heal. It's like you ask a toddler what happened on the playground and why their friend is blaming them for hurting them, and they're like, "Well, he came over to me, and then I told him to go away, and then he wouldn't go away, and then I said, no, you have to go." And then it's like, just what is this sentence? We help people heal their hurt. We do not hurt people. We help people heal by lovingly supporting them to identify the hurt place inside themselves, and then we support them in loving themselves in that hurt place, which ultimately heals their hurt. They are hurting and we help them, and then they're not hurting, but then we help them and their hurt is in their heart, and that's where we help them. Come on. If you're going to have a really deep and intimate relationship with your twin flame, you are probably going to need to heal really deep upsets within yourself in order to make room for the powerful transcendental love that flows naturally between you and your twin flame. Oh my gosh, this is such BS. We support people through healing. We do not provide unconditional support to people who do not want healing. That would not only be unsustainable and counterproductive to our organizational aims, it would be literally supporting abuse, which we will never do. Oh, because all the people that question what you do and don't, quote unquote, want healing, they're abusing themselves. Is that what you're saying, Jeff? People feel a really deep closeness and camaraderie in our community because they all share the same underlying purpose of healing. No, it's because they're all sharing their deepest, darkest secrets with each other because you're encouraging them to, and that creates a trauma bond. GTFO. If someone does not share that core value, they will likely not fear our community. If someone does not share that core value, they will likely not feel our community is a perfect place for them, and they will usually leave on their own accord. Thank you for your questions. Feel free to ask me more if you feel so inclined. And then someone else responds to this woman's initial line of questioning and says, I keep being silenced even though my comments are not violating any criteria. That gives you the answer. Oh, and then someone responded to that comment. Probably the comments get caught in our filters. We filter out comments with certain words that are usually signals that someone is just out to abuse us. So like cult probably, or abuse, or any word that could potentially make them look bad. So that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, welcome to our open forum. Feel free to ask any question you want, except if it's about these things we're being accused of doing, because you're abusing us if you ask a question about that. And if you ask a question we don't like, we are not going to answer it to the full, to our best of our abilities. And if you don't like our answer, then we're just going to kick you out of the group. That's what's happening here. It's a classic cult tactic. What they're doing is they are on the attack now. They have to be on the attack. They have to go on the offensive. So what that looks like is they're going to try to make everyone who spoke out look like they are just hateful and taking things out of context and are just trying to ruin the company. And then they're going to go to the media that covered the documentaries and say they're mainstream media, it's all clickbait, it's all false. And then if you question them, they're going to come up with some type of flowery language that makes them publicly look like they're answering the question. But if you look deeper, they're really not at all. Because if they do actually answer a question, they will have to be held accountable for what they've done, right? Like if Keith Raniere didn't have all those people brand his initials into their pubic region, why couldn't he just come out and say, no, I had absolutely no knowledge of that, and I want to do a full-scale investigation as to who did that? Why can't Jeff and Shaleia say, we have never coerced anyone into changing their identity, and we are going to do a full-scale investigation. We've already reached out to Keely, who was one of the primary characters in the documentary, and we want to work with her. We want to use all of the resources that she's gotten, and we want to take full accountability for whomever did encourage people to change their identity, change their gender. And we want to do a full-scale investigation to see where this was. Because the woman who asked all those questions made a ton of good points. If you are just going to sit there and deny, you only make yourself look more wrong. You only make yourself look more guilty. So why not just say, we acknowledge and recognize that we can make improvements in this, this, and this. Due to the allegations, we are doing a large-scale investigation. You are welcome to anonymously report any wrongdoing you feel like happened. And we are going to have people who are not Jeff and Shaleia analyze all of this report so we can fully investigate and get to the bottom of this. Due to our investigation, we've recognized and acknowledged that these are the areas that we can improve upon. Because no cult leader takes accountability. All you have to do, Jeff and Shaleia, is say, hey, we did make this mistake, and I'm sorry. And things are really misunderstood, and we really wish we could take back. And if anyone needs a refund there, they get it, right? Like, if you don't find your twin flame, and if you've been in the group for X amount of years, you will get a refund. But you're not doing that. You're not taking any accountability. So what now? If you don't want people to call you a cult leader, Jeff, stop acting like a cult leader. Well, I think this might be my longest video yet, and I know I could go on rant after rant after rant. I'm a very long-winded person. That's why more structure and like a script on a teleprompter typically helps me. So thank you for being here with me for this video while I could just react honestly and go off script and rant a little bit. I am incredibly passionate about the work that I do because I don't think there are enough resources out there for people because people still don't treat cults and cult tactics seriously. And I want people to know what to look out for, and I want people to see the red flags and the signs faster so that they don't end up becoming a victim or even becoming a perpetrator of these really, really dangerous groups. So thank you all so much for spending time with me today. If you need support, I will leave some references down below. If you want to share your story anonymously with me, whether you're in the Twin Flames universe or in any other dangerous culty group, please feel free to email me at erinfinley@gmail.com or share your story down below. A lot of you have been giving me some really great resources so far on this I want to say case because I cover true crime, but this group. And I just want to say thank you so much for your vulnerabilities. Thank you so much for spending time with me here today. And thank you so much for the resources that you have all provided for me in the comments. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. I cannot express this enough. Just protect yourself, listen to your intuition, listen to your gut, and ask questions. If your questions are not directly answered, it should be a red flag and you should leave that group, that person, that organization. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you go off and have a wonderful rest of your weekend, great rest of your week, and let's please send good vibes to all of the people still in Twin Flames universe who haven't seen the light yet. Let's please send them energy to help them get out. And remember, if you think someone's in a cult, telling them they're in a cult will not get them to leave. You becoming educated and asking them questions that restarts their critical thinking will help them best get out of the group. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate your time. Remember to like and subscribe and share if you're so inclined. I really appreciate you. Thank you all so much. Goodbye.